I'm actually from Victoria, but I teach at Virginia Tech. I'm a professor of political science there, just back visiting. And I gotta say, I was here 10 years ago, and Victoria didn't come out for Palestine like this. This is wonderful to see everybody coming out for Palestine. Do you all chant at these rallies? I'm gonna say some words about the encampment, but I like some chants I haven't heard in the yet. So can I get a free, free Palestine?
Free, free Palestine!
Say free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Say free, free Gaza!
Free, free Gaza!
Free, free, free Gaza!
Free, free, free Gaza!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Say free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Say free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
All right. So it's so wonderful to see the encampment up at University of Victoria. We had an encampment at Virginia Tech. It was raided on the third day. The third day, the university wouldn't even come and talk to us about its complicity in the genocide. And I'm going to get to this point briefly, but this is not simply a Zionist genocide of Palestinians. Canada, the United States, and Europe are all parties to the genocide. They're not simply complicit or supporting, they're active parties to the genocide. So at Virginia Tech, we knew we had a responsibility to stand up. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay silent and complicit, or are you going to turn to fight against it? Those are only two roads. And they instead put the police on us, and the state police, and we were arrested on April 29th. 82 of us were arrested, and that happens across the United States, as I'm sure everybody here saw this happening. You know, and they obviously treated us roughly. They kept us in handcuffs for 10 hours on our own campus. That's what they would do rather than not be complicit in genocide. So the question, yeah, shame on them. And the question we ask, as the previous speaker was saying, is why? Why are these countries so invested in the genocide of Palestinians? We have never seen this type of horror in our entire lives. A caged people having 2,000-pound bombs dropped on their homes every single day. We just heard news, 14,000 2,000-pound bombs. 14,000 2,000-pound bombs have been transferred from the United States to Israel over the past 8 to 9 months. The Israeli media itself admits that they would not be able to continue this genocide for one day without Western support. This is, yeah, Genocide Joe, Genocide Justin. All of these leaders have made a choice to stay invested in the genocide. Now, why do they do this? Because the conquest of Palestine, the subjugation of Palestine is central to Western hegemony in the Middle East. We cannot forget that our countries, their power, their wealth is built upon controlling the flow of oil into and out of that region. It's built out of weapon sales and armaments, so we have an urgent duty to fight back. And why we cannot give up is, do we see the Palestinians submitting in Gaza? No. The reason the ceasefire doesn't go through is because they want the Palestinians to agree to ceasefire terms that are essentially surrendering to those who are genociding them. The ceasefire that they put on the table is for Palestinians to permanently lay down their arms. It's for Palestinians to leave Gaza, those who are fighting, and to reestablish an equation where only Israel can have an army and the Palestinians have no arms. What's going to happen? More land will get stolen, more Palestinians will be brutalized. That is why the ceasefire has stalled out. The Americans and the Canadians, when they say Hamas does not agree to a ceasefire, what they're saying is the Palestinians refuse to surrender. That's what they're demanding, the total surrender. What did we see yesterday and the day before? We saw the Zionist army invade Shujaa in Gaza City. They invaded Shujaa after, in December, they decimated the Shujaa neighborhood of Gaza City, claiming they cleared out the Palestinian resistance in December. Just like they did in Jabalia in November, they bombed Jabalia camp at a rate that we haven't seen in modern history. Are we aware of the intensity of the bombing of Gaza over the past 8 months? That this exceeds the bombing of Dresden, the intensity of the bombing that they've dropped on Gaza and Gaza City and Jabalia. But they are not being able to defeat the Palestinian fighters. The resistance, like I was saying, has stood strong and continues to fight back. And so they go back into Shujaa 2 days ago and they massacred dozens of Palestinians. But what do the Palestinian resistance do? They stand up and they confront the invading army on the streets of Shujaa and they repel, again, the Zionist army. So we have two tasks we can never let go of. We mourn the martyrs every single day, but we understand as there's a war of genocide being inflicted on Palestinians, in the other direction there's a war of liberation. The Palestinians are fighting against the Zionist occupation. So we have to hold both. We have to remember the martyrs and remember the resistance. So there's a chant that we say at Virginia Tech. Is it okay if I teach it to y'all and y'all say it with me? So we have, for now 9 months, we have seen horror after horror. We have seen tens of thousands. We don't even know the scale of the death. We have seen so many martyrs fall. And one thing that we must promise those martyrs is we will never forget, nor will we ever forgive. That's the least we can do. We know this week we heard about our fallen angel, Hind Rajab. I'm sure you remember the young child in the car when the Palestinian Red Crescent told the Israeli army of her coordinates. We learned this week that they saw the child in the car and they fired tank shells on the car. You remember this story from some months back?
355 bullets.
So can you put your hands up and put it on your heart for me? And we put our hands on our heart because we remember our angel Hind Rajab. And we promise her that we will never forget her. And we will never forgive those who did this to her. And we will fight every day for the rest of our lives. This is how serious this is. The rest of our lives to remember her and to do justice by her and to ensure that Gaza and Palestine will be free and rebuilt. We remember our beloved poet, Rafat al-Harir. We remember, I see signs of his poem written right there, "If I must die, you must live, to tell my story." We promise him that we will honor his poem and we keep our hands on our hearts because we will never forget Rafat, we will never forget Hind Rajab and any of the martyrs. We remember our martyrs every day, but we remember our martyrs and we remember that it is the martyrs that fuel the struggle. Palestinians do not simply die, they are not simply martyred. Each day they get up and the martyrs breathe life into the resistance and the struggle. So with our other hand, as we keep our hand on our heart, as we solemnly promise that we will never forget the martyrs, we will never forget those who did it, they breathe life into our struggle and into supporting the Palestinian resistance. So please, if you have another hand, keep one hand on your heart and put a fist in the sky with the other one if you can. We put our hands on our hearts and we put our fist in the sky because we refuse to forget the martyrs, but we refuse to submit and stop supporting the Palestinian resistance. So we put our hands on our hearts and our fists in the sky because Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fists in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Hands on our hearts, fist in the sky, Palestine will never die. Literally, and I promise I'm going to wrap up in 2 minutes. Everything is at stake in Palestine today. Our very humanity is at stake. They have transformed hospitals into death camps in front of our eyes. We see hundreds of Palestinians dug out of mass graves in front of hospitals. This happened in front of us. This is the world that Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau want us to accept is this world. A world with no humanity, a world built on cowardice and calculation, and not on love and solidarity. We have to reject their world. If Palestine were to fall, there's no world worth living in. There's no planet worth saving from climate change if this is the planet that we have. So everything is at stake here. May the occupation fall. May Palestine be free. May Western imperialism fall once and for all so the people of West Asia can finally be free to be sovereign over their lands and their resources. Every day we wake up, we have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do today to end the genocide? That has to be the first question we ask ourselves. There's no more important task that we face today than ending this. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I do? And do not feel shy about making people uncomfortable. I'm sorry, nobody has the excuse to say, I just want to be away from this. We're 9 months into this. How has this not stopped? So everywhere, push for boycott. Don't allow this to be normalized. Don't allow Israel as a settler colonial state to be normalized, and fight against Western imperialism everywhere we can. Can I get a free Palestine?
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Say free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Say from the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Say Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Say from the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Say Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
When people are occupied!
People are occupied!
Resistance is justified!
Resistance is justified!
When people are occupied!
When people are occupied!
Resistance is justified!
Resistance is justified!
Say Victoria, pick a side!
Victoria, pick a side!
Liberation or genocide!
Liberation or genocide!
Victoria, pick a side!
Victoria, pick a side!
Liberation or genocide!
Liberation or genocide!
BC, pick a side!
BC, pick a side!
Liberation or genocide!
Liberation or genocide!
People of the world, pick a side!
People of the world, pick a side!
Liberation or genocide!
Liberation or genocide!
People of the world, unite!
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 The people united will never be defeated!
The people united
Will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated!
The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated!
Thank you all for giving me the time to share. Giving us time from Virginia. Keep it up a beautiful struggle, keep at it. We support you all the way.